All right, everyone, we are going to do a tutorial on how to play Game of Quotes. So the very first step of Game of Quotes is that you have to do some independent reading of your fictional story for, I would say, about 20 minutes. When you've done your reading, the next step is basically to click on our digital Game of Quotes Padlet. When you click on that link, it will take you to a page that looks sort of like this. This is today's example. And your second step or your third step is you are going to focus on finding a quote from your own book that best aligns with the example given. On today's example, the focus was finding a quote that matched the last thought a bug would have before they hit a windshield. Now, the fun part is that none of the books that we are reading, or at least the majority of the books we're reading independently, had anything to do with bugs. So you really have to get creative to find a quote that could be used this way. So you're going to go through your book, the pages that you've read most likely, and you're going to look for a quote that either represents this scenario or could be used as an example of how a bug would feel if they were experiencing this. And here's how it works. When you are ready, let's say you find your quote, you're going to click the pink plus sign and you're going to type book and then the title of your book. I'm going to use the first example. So let's say I read the book Smile. I would say the book is Smile. The author in this particular book is Raina Telgemeier. And then I'm going to actually search for a visual example of what the book looks like. And if I'm lucky, there will be an example image. Aha, there is. So I just attached it. Now, let's say the quote that I chose was the same one that this other student chose. And just as soon as it started. The most important thing to consider when you're adding a quote is that it has to match exactly what it says in the text. That includes punctuation, spelling, and capitalization. Now, let's say that you have a quote, but you don't want to include all of the quote, just the part that you think is relevant. When you want that, you just use the ellipses at the end to indicate that there is more to the quote, but you're just using the part that is relevant for you. And then the very last step is to include the page number that you found it on. When you have the book, the author name, an image if you can find it, your full quote that includes punctuation and quotation marks, and your page number, you hit publish. And then your last step is to read the other examples and give feedback to your classmates about what you think about their quotes. Maybe you don't understand what their quote means, or maybe you're trying to figure out how it relates to the theme, or maybe it's a phenomenal example. That's where you add feedback below by hitting the comment button.